Welcome to another episode of World by Night. This is the Vampire Edition, if you're keeping track. This is a side session involving Roderick and his little offside activities that are just going to fuck with everybody else eventually. What are you doing, Roderick?
Well, first things first, I need to make a couple of phone calls.
Okay.
I've had a couple of opportunities now to get in contact with a neurosurgeon, as well as a doomsday prepper.
Mm-hmm.
The doomsday prepper, by the name of Charles Harrington, I'll have to give him a call, and I want to meet up with him.
Okay.
See what if he's available that we can get together. We had talked about maybe seeing his facility. I have some new gear that I want him to check out, and possibly some new survival products. Some nice new recipes for survival products I might be interested in.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely says, he'll get together with you. He gives you a location to meet him.
All right. What time works for him?
Whenever. Just pick a time. It doesn't matter.
All right. I'll tell him about an hour. It'll give me time to make a few other calls and head out. I am then going to send I'll just send an email to the cybernetics neurosurgeon Arthur Thompson.
Okay.
I've got some specific ideas that I'm interested in. I'm looking for like a biometric interface type cybernetic, something that we can build into me to make it easier for me to interface with foreign equipment. Start with that one. So I'll see what he's got along those lines, what he'd recommend, if that's something he can help me assemble.
Okay, well, he doesn't respond right away.
Right. Well, no, I wanted to get the message out, though.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then I will wrap up on my my Inquisitor outfit and gear, as I'm going to need those here. Then I'll head out to meet with Charles Harrington.
Okay.
I assume he gave me his address.
No, he actually gave you an address to a let's see, where would he put you? An old graveyard, just outside of town.
Okay. Well, as long as he gave me an address to find him at, I guess that's the part I'm really concerned with.
Yeah.
Odd choice, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We're an odd bunch.
Yeah.
Funny how that goes hand in hand, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will head out then to meet him there.
Okay. As you get there, he's sitting there. He's driving one of the, and it's definitely old for nowadays, but one of the first generation Hummers. Looks like it's set up for military wear. You see where it even has the little area for the gun on top, or some kind of weapon on top.
Okay.
There's nothing there now; it's just empty, but you can tell that it has space for it. He's just sitting there next to him, smoking a cigarette, just waiting. He kind of looks.
All right. Well, walk over and greet him. I'm sure he's going to recognize my Land Rover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's good to see you again. So how are things progressing on your front?
Pretty good. I've got was able to develop some new equipment, and
Awesome.
In addition, I've been working on tracking down some new product, if you will, especially food products, stuff that's going to hold for a bit longer, more sustainable.
Hmm. Yeah, that was always the problem everybody was having, is trying to find, well, they could find food that was sustainable, but as many put it, tasty food that was sustainable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've had K rations for quite a while, but making them
Yeah.
enjoyable to eat is a whole nother dilemma.
There are actually millions of recipes out there to make those K rations slightly better, but it just doesn't
Well,
really help when you.
slightly isn't quite enough for me.
Yeah, me either. Um, Nothing against you, but we'll take my truck, and I hate to do this. It's just one of my paranoid delusions. Um, you're gonna have to put a blindfold on.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
Understandable precaution.
Let's just sit in the truck and then I'll put the blindfold on you. Don't worry, we're not gonna take you out anywhere and like get rid of your body or anything.
I'll chuckle a little bit at that.
As you get in the car, yep, he's true to his word. He waits for you to get all comfortable and then he puts the blindfold on you. You feel him drive for a little bit. Um, you're probably driving and making various turns here and there for about an hour and a half. And then finally, he pulls up and you can feel him slow down, stop. All right, you can take your blindfold off.
I'll do so.
You see what looks like, just some old piece of land, um, sitting by a big, a nice sized lake. The cabin that you're parked in front of looks like crap. It looks like, he's got a couple of old cars and stuff just kind of scattered about. Most of them don't look like they run.
Okay.
As you get out, you notice he's not walking towards the house.
Well, I'm going to follow his lead. It's his property.
Okay. Yeah. You see him walk over to one of the old cars that's just like sitting on the ground. It has some grass growing over it and stuff like that. See him pop open the hood. Come on in. He starts climbing down the stairs.
Good work. I'll follow him.
As you go downstairs, you see he gets to a door. You see it's just got a bunch of combination of the typical old style turn combinations.
Sure.
You see him, kind of quickly does a few turns, pops it open, walks in. As you enter, the room is actually pretty decent size. You can tell he's probably got one hell of an underground system set up here. The first little room just looks like a living room type setup. He's got a couch, a couple things.
All right, so he's obviously established this to be a long-term residence, not just a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He walks you down a hallway. You go down another couple of flights of stairs. He gets to on one of the flights he stops. He opens up, big sliding steel door, and in it you can see he's got various weapons, ammo, armor, that kind of stuff. Most of it old school. You can tell there are a couple new pieces, but nothing too impressive.
All right. Well, still.
This is just one of them. On each floor, I have a different setup. They all look somewhat similar to this, but on each one of my floors, there's a room looking just like this. And I have about, I've done 10 floors. Doing most of this on my own. very few people I can trust with this kind of thing. So
Well, yeah, it's not something you can just go hire a contractor for.
yeah,
At least not unless you intend to make them disappear after.
yeah, not really into all that. But
No, no one
I mean,
really
thankfully,
wants to.
some of this was already here. Some of this was already here. This is actually um, we're now in an old abandoned army base. This was an old missile silo that I've converted. The hallway we just walked through actually connects my main living quarters to the secondary area.
Certainly nice to have an attached fallback. That is one thing I haven't yet established.
Yeah, I figure anybody comes looking for me, they'll go to the house first, which is nothing but booby traps and death for any who enter.
Yeah, well, that's always prudent too.
Yeah, I figured it's safer that way.
So, well, I see you certainly have yourself pretty well equipped. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to develop a quick release mechanism, if you will, for I'm using just a small survival blade, but certainly it could be adapted for various size knives. I'll kind of show them. It's basically like a bracer that has a quick release, so the knife drops into your hand.
Nice.
Well, it's the biggest key for me is accessibility, and holsters and sheaths. There's a delay time in getting them out, no matter how quick and practiced you are. If the other guy is just as good,
Very true.
anything that'll give you an advantage.
Yeah.
I'll show them my. It looks really like a large walking stick, like almost a staff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a press of a button and twist of the handle, and a couple of blades kind of fold out into like an axe blade.
Nice.
Well, you walk around with a walking stick, or you could certainly adapt it to a smaller version with a cane, and people might think you're maybe just a little bit eccentric. You walk around with the axe, they think you're more than a little bit eccentric. So,
very true. Very true.
So prudence dictated that I keep it to a minimum, and I still wanted to have the availability of it.
I got to admit, most people don't assume something like that with an item such as a cane or whatever. The most they might assume is, okay, maybe you have a cane sword or something.
Yeah.
Definitely don't assume a whole axe.
Well, that's the key. So, and it can get a little more heft with it. A cane sword might be nice, but it's relatively small blade.
Mm-hmm.
So,
he takes you through some of the other floors. He also tells you on each floor there is a supply room that has enough supplies to feed. What'd you put it at? Supply room that has enough supplies to feed about 10 families for at least 6 years. He says he's still working on getting more supplies. He's got to wait for the mail, so on and so forth. Which he gets all sent to a P.O. box.
Sure. Well, I do see that you're certainly well equipped for company too, if need be.
I figure just in case, and not everybody is out to get you. I know there are other people, like-minded like us who,
Yeah, there's certainly some out there.
Oh yeah. It's just hard trying to determine between the crazies and the normals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fine line, especially with the circles we travel in. So I can understand that. Well, I'm certainly impressed. You're certainly prepared for most eventualities, if not all. I have to hand that to you. So, but you said you started with an old
Well,
missile silo, huh?
originally what I did, I mean, once I found this particular property, originally what I did was and then learned of its history and the fact that it used to be an old, army base. Um, I tried to determine, and it took me some time figuring out exactly where some of the old missile silos were, because this was supposed to, this was one of the old, nuclear missile sites. So I know they would have had to have a couple of silos. Luckily, from the property, or from this property, the property saw up at top, I managed to dig the little hole and actually connect my little makeshift home to this missile silo. And then once I did, I just had to reconvert some of the rooms, so it made it a little easier. I haven't gone all the way down to the bottom yet. Like I said, I've only done about 10 floors worth of stuff, but figure that's enough, plus, hey, got to make some money to pay for all this stuff I keep getting.
Yeah, certainly. Although it'd be interesting to see what they've got hiding squirreled away down there.
Yeah, I haven't gone fully onto the base yet to check. I think it's still occasionally monitored, but I'm not sure. So I have to keep, I'm going to have to take a look one day and see if maybe they, some old equipment or whatnot, maybe, reused for other means.
Yeah, that's something to consider. Well, it looks like you've got yourself pretty well in hand here, so I must admit there's very limited things I can offer based on what you've got. But
other than, it's always good to have extra contacts, and you never know. I mean, there are, I just honestly I don't trust a lot of people, so I don't tend to, so I don't tend to really converse much. So I don't know. I mean, maybe there are other people out there that I could talk to. We could, expand on it, or we can even basically turn this into a small, underground city, for lack of better terms. I mean, really, it can be self-sufficient if done right, and because I can imagine with the silos and the old base, I can only imagine that. I know most bases usually have at least a couple of underground levels purposely, for miscellaneous or whatnot, or who knows. So
yeah, your command and that sort of thing. Well, it's certainly something to consider, and I have some resource available. I might be able to assist if that's something you're looking for. I also have a couple of other contacts that are well equipped for the same sort of work. So before I forget, I got these protein bars, and they use some sort of natural based frosting, and it's supposed to be more flavorful. I think it's a little better than the over the counter crap.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, when you get over the counter crap, it's usually all kinds of other stuff to attempt to make it taste good, and it's like, yeah, you're tempted to go on the wrong lap.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature of the beast. So I'm hoping to avoid that, and that's why I was impressed with this recipe. So I whipped up a couple batches, but I think this one turned out the best. Basically, it's like a granola bar, but it's got a raspberry frosting that's got a point of blood mixed into it. So I will give them one of those to sample.
Sure. He tries it. He's like, hey, that actually isn't too bad. Better than a majority of the ones I taste. And believe me, I got quite a stock of that crap sitting there.
Yeah, and the nice part is you don't need much in the way of supplies to make them. I mean, you could even keep most of the ingredients as dried goods, keep the other items in sealed jars, and produce them as needed. you know, because
Well,
they're going to certainly hold longer as raw ingredients.
well, even with the idea of, even kind of turning this into a small, like, little underground city, I already had begun getting multiple, generators and stuff set up. Like, I mean, most of this is just lighting I have off a single generator because it doesn't take a lot. um, that's the one good thing I got to say about the newer technology and the whole, no longer needing gas. Now it's all water powered. And ironically, then it produces its own vapors, which if you collect it, you can reuse it again. So it's basically an unending supply of fuel.
Very lonely.
And that's what I've been using is I converted one of the newfangled generators into something, and I went and checked through all of it and made sure that there was no hidden features or anything that we need to know about.
Yeah, it's something you got to check. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably going to end up getting some more because, like I said, I'm probably going to turn this basically into, like, a safe haven for those who just need to escape and get out of the way or whatever.
Yeah, that's a consideration too.
From everything I'm hearing, things are getting pretty nasty, and it doesn't sound like it's going to get better anytime soon.
Yeah, I think some of the tension is rising to the surface that's been building for a while.
Yep, it's only a matter of time before it happened.
It's true. Well, I'm impressed. If there's any specific things you're looking for, let me know, and I'll branch out through other channels. And if you'd like, I can get in touch with a couple of other people who might be good resources for us as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I would love to basically have some beginning of some kind of underground civilization ready for when shit hits the fan and everybody goes insane.
Yeah, I have to have some sort of fallback plan, or it's all going to fall apart.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of people are too prepared for what would happen if everything went to chaos. They're all like, "Oh, I know what I'd do." Yeah, it's different when it actually happens, rather than
Yeah,
things get all messed up.
that's a good point. So, well, I'll ask around, see if anyone else is interested, and I'll start by getting them to invest before we worry about introducing them too much. That way, they're well. If we can get them behind the idea first, it's easier.
Very true.
So, I appreciate your time. So certainly,
No problem. I mean, the house is livable. Like, it can easily be livable, but in case of any kind of nuclear fallout or anything, this whole underground shelter is protected from all of that. So I mean, yeah, it would suck to live underground for too long, but I'm sure with the way technology is going, I'm sure we can figure out use some of the technology or even work it to our own and be able to make some kind of anti-radiation suits or something of that nature. And I can imagine with all the space travel going on, they probably encounter planets that aren't too friendly towards human life.
Yeah, that's true. It's all the same premises no matter where you go, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds almost like an enterprise, not even just a task, but
Well, like I said, I mean, it pretty much looks like this shit's going to hit the fan. And the rumor mill is all a buzz. I don't think most of it's true, but there's some kind of scary, a nursery kind of hospital type setup. That equipment's going to be a little harder to get, but it's always good to have it handy. And I'm even making sure that we have some equipment set up for any of those who get any of our people who decide to have cybernetics implanted. Never know when that could come in handy.
Yeah, I mean those you gotta be careful with on who makes them because they've always got their own hooks in the project too. But
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of trying to piece things together and see what I can do on my own. I'll find a couple of blueprints here and there for some of the older stuff, but hey, most of the time, all anybody does with newer stuff is just upgrade the new, old stuff to work better.
yeah, I've been delving into it and dabbling, but I haven't had a chance to explore it too far yet.
From what I've seen, it's quite a bit to try and rework, but it can be done. I don't have some of the necessary skills to create half the stuff that I really want to get. But
yeah, it's a whole nother skill set. Certainly. I know the computer side of it, but there's a medical element that's difficult too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I get any news on that front, I'll keep you posted as well.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I think we should stay in touch and get things worked out.
Yeah, it never hurts to have a little, well, and to have some other skilled allies nearby too.
Very true. He takes you back up. He actually doesn't put the blindfold on you this time.
Okay.
Drives you back. About another hour and a half, and then you get back to the car. There you go.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I'll let you know what I find out.
Awesome.
From there, I will check if I have a message from Arthur yet, on if he's had any luck on the cybernetics front, or if he has any thoughts, rather, I guess.
He gives you a list of what seem like mundane items. It gives you a rather extensive list of mundane items. He says once you have the list, let him know. Then he can get you some more information on how to put them together and the pattern that you're looking for, and the patterns that you're looking for.
All right.
So acquiring items is will probably be the biggest part of the undertaking, and so it may be mundane, but it's not exactly like they're
over the counter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll put down my list. Let them know as soon as I tell them. I'll let them know as soon as I have everything.
Okay.
So I will then. Well, I'll start swing home for a little bit. Work on my building. I gotten a schematic on power armor, and it used some metals that I wasn't familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to instead substitute steel and silver alloys.
Okay.
Rather than worry about tracking down their materials at this point. It's a rather durable arrangement, so I think. Plus, it will serve well for the next phase, which is once I've built it, to also turn it into a sort of fetish. So certainly working with silver is beneficial on that front.
Oh yeah, always.
So I'll start on that process. Order whatever I need for materials.
Okay.
So that I have them on hand, because I can. Hopefully, with all the materials, I think with one night of dedicated work, if I have everything ready to go, I can get it put together and then start tracking down the appropriate spirits for it.
Oh yeah. One night of dedicated work should be able to at least get you a basic. I mean, if all you do is just sit and do that, then yeah, you should be able to get
it assembled at least.
Yeah, assembled and ready. And it's just getting some of the extra details that you'll need.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure being I'm modifying it to serve as a fetish, I'll have to play around a little bit with that. But
Yep.
then I will, since I have somewhat indirectly announced a Sabbat meeting, I will head to the Techno Union Hotel.
Okay.
And I'm going to do so in the guise of the Inquisitor.
Okay.
Simply because I want to keep myself from being associated at this point.
Yeah.
It just seems like a good thing to do.
Yeah, it would be really good. Considering you have half the kindred looking for this guy.
Well, it's part of it too. So I will then I'll go in the back entrance to it.
Okay.
And it would be because of the way it was announced, it should be this evening that anyone who is in the know would be here.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of casually open the door to a back, not really banquet room, but kind of a conference room type area.
Gotcha.
Still done the same motif, but it's a different layout, so more arranged for a large group meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of see who shows up. Kind of make it clear that that's the that's the place to go. In fact, I'll even put a little kind of an updated idea of the same poster. But this one will be sort of like a celebrate the Sabbath poster to see who picks up on that on the next to the door that's hanging open.
Okay. Takes a couple hours, but you get. It looks like a total, probably about 6 individuals that come in.
Okay.
Just kind of look around at each other.
Any of them that I recognize? Are they actively pretending to be Camarillon, or are they ones that are probably more in hiding? Keeping a low profile.
Most of them you don't recognize, but hold on, I get the list because there's a couple on the list I want to do.
Do I have to throw Agent Giles out of my bar?
No, he's not there.
He's smart enough to stay away.
No, none of those would work. Here's some fun. You recognize one of them immediately. Thankfully, they don't recognize you. But that's the Bruja Primogen. That's Sammy.
Oh, good.
Actually, out of the rest, yeah, that's the only one that shows up in that group. So there's only one you recognize. The rest are all, they've either laid low and not said anything, or gotten involved in anything, or they're from out of town.
Yeah, I suppose they could be from the surrounding area, keeping the low profiles.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
Yeah, you only focus on DC, so you wouldn't know like everybody from the cities around you that have. DC.
Yeah, well, and that's part of why we're hosting it in Virginia, just outside DC too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Yeah, so 6 people total and only one you recognize. But this could just be one of those, some of these guys may be like scouts, so to say, kind of see what it's about, unless, find out if it's just bullshit or if it's actually something real.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah, and
if
that's
Israel. You could get more.
That's a valid point. I will. I'll kind of wait till they're settled in, see if they socialize with one another, if they appear to have any sort of working relationship with one another yet.
No, it doesn't look like it. They all just kind of look at each other curiously, but nobody says anything.
Okay, so they maybe recognize what they're there for, but they don't know one another personally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that gives me something to start with. It can be a benefit too.
And they're all kind of mingling around, just kind of, they don't really introduce themselves to each other yet. They're just kind of sitting there and just kind of watching, waiting for, I guess they're waiting on something to happen. I'm not sure, but, they all get, basically, yeah, they're all just kind of sitting there, kind of eyeing each other and looking suspicious about each other. But
And I'll kind of get up. I'm going to start, obviously I'm in full, basically, regalia as the Inquisitor. I've got my devil whip and my bane clave hanging at my hip, so it's fairly militant attitude.
okay.
And I'll kind of get up, not really even directly address them, but I'll pull out the book of Nod.
Okay.
And kind of start basically different passages, but kind of preaching the more militant aspects of our on life. And kind of see who's responding, who's kind of picking up the
well, they all seem to be
message.
Listening. Yeah, they all seem to be listening and paying attention, especially once you start speaking. A lot of them are, when you mention certain things, you're all kind of nodding.
And then I'll touch on a little bit of it too. That they speak of teaching your progeny the ways of the kindred, but the Camarilla manipulate. That they use their progeny for power. That we're supposed to never forget your sire, Cain the Wanderer, and yet the Camarillans distance themselves from him, and act more like the mortals.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, yeah. So sickening how they do that.
And that they, I'll touch on how your commandment of the kindred was that you shall hold the eldest among you as Lord. But yet the Camarillans only respect their elders from a political standpoint. They connive and manipulate behind their back, but they don't have the courage to face them and find out who's worthy of being eldest.
Yeah, them fucking cowards. Yeah, no kidding. Damn Camarilla.
And then
You're definitely starting to get them worked up now. Sammy's just been quiet, by the way. He's just sitting and listening.
I'll fall back and touch on the blood bond and how the crone used it to control Cain. And then I'm going to invoke, basically through my preaching, invoke the first level of Path of Father's Vengeance, which lets me see blood bonds. And I just want to see if any of them are bloodbound or members of a Valdiri.
Okay. 6. 4 of them are, including Sammy.
Bloodbound or Valdiri?
Bloodbound.
Okay.
No Valdiri.
And it would reveal the names of whoever and rough psychic impressions of them. I don't need all of them.
All
but
4 of them are
obviously
bloodbound to this. All 4 of them are bloodbound to the same person.
Okay.
Shit, I haven't thought of a name for him yet.
Random name generator, here we come.
Yeah, I've really got to start.
Vladimir.
Sure, why not? Vladimir. Psychic impression. For Vladimir, he's manipulative, cunning, very charismatic, but as evil as one can be. The impression you get is that he will use anybody and everybody for cannon fodder, if it's necessary.
All right. Well, I'll kind of follow that up with, just how we can't let the Camarillans manipulate us as Cain was manipulated by the crone. And to that end, we must join ourselves together that we may stand stronger. And I'll take out a bowl and a dagger to invoke the Valdiri.
Okay.
See which ones of them will approach to join their blood.
All of them do.
Okay. And I will find, I think I'd have this memorized. I look it up enough. Let's see. Oh, dearie. It's in here. I'll invoke the ritual. I put enough blood in there. I'll put 6 points in myself.
Okay.
My purpose being I know that's what's required to break the blood bond.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I'll add my blood last, but I'll offer it to each of them first. And I'm doing it under the pretense of I'm not superior to the rest of them. They have first opportunity.
Gotcha. Now each of them put, we'll say, 3 points apiece in.
Okay. It's a rather substantial binding.
Yeah, it is.
And then I assume each of them will drink after it's completed.
Once everybody puts their blood in, everybody takes a drink.
And I will, as I go a drink, I will actually activate my sanguinary expulsion. It's a discipline that lets me basically hold the blood in a reserve. As long as I don't spend any other blood, I don't absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to roll a stamina and Fortitude, I want to say. Yes. Difficulty 5, stamina, fortitude. Find some dice here. Dice would help.
Usually.
And 2 successes. So as long as I don't spend any blood, I can hold that in my system and expel it at a later time.
Okay.
Basically, I appear to have taken part in the Voldiri, but I'm actually not bound to anyone.
Okay.
And then I will, I guess I'll just kind of wrap up by reminding them that we have to gather our strength in the shadows, but that united we can strike with far more precision and force than we would if we were at odds. Tell them that, remind them that we're always looking for prospective candidates, both among mortals and kindred. And schedule another meeting. Obviously, I don't want to make it the same night because I don't want it to be predictable.
Yeah.
So I will tell them we'll meet 3 nights hence, and that any prospective recruits can be brought forth then. In the meantime,
Okay.
I will go forth to study our enemies and strike at their foundations.
Okay.
And then I'm kind of expecting they're going to leave
Yeah.
as I wrap up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As everything wraps up, they all kind of part their ways.
Start dispersing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will. I'm going to head out. I'll keep that disguise and stuff tucked away. I'm taking a cab. And do I know where any of the Ventru might reside, other than obviously Monica?
They're usually at the Lion's Den.
Okay.
That has become their new hangout. I mean, that's the last one. By certain outside sources. Big venture building. Now pile of rubble.
I couldn't help it.
Well, their primogen wasn't an asshole.
Well, I am going to show up, and I think for the rest of tonight anyway, I will simply monitor. I assume it's a Lion's Den's more of an Elysium, so I'll show up as the Scourge just to kind of visit and show face. That'll be my pretense. Okay. I'm getting to know these other kindred.
Okay.
But I kind of want to see if any of them feel any of them out. See if they tend to, if they're always here in a group, or if some of them go out on their own more.
Kind of varies. I mean, they don't have large numbers.
Yeah, I didn't know if any of them had their own holdings. In fact, that's going to be some of my pretense. I'm going to ask if any of their private holdings have come under assault since obviously the Nosferatu's base foundation was attacked. In fact, one of theirs was lost, and now their primogen is obfuscated away. So I'm wondering if it was something targeted at them, or if they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm curious whether the Venture have been targeted. They're a little more high profile.
None of the Venture have been targeted. So they've either lucked out. You do find out that a couple of them have their own holdings. Everybody that was hit was not hit in their home.
Yeah, I
Or
guess
in their safe area.
right.
It's one of those, they are kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I also want to find out if any of them had maybe business holdings that might have been targeted, or if they have any concerns there that they want me to be aware of. You know, if they had anything they felt concern about.
Well, Amelia let you know that due to everything that's been happening within DC, that the venture as a whole feel their forces need to be bolstered within DC to help ensure a stronger grip on the city. So she does let you know that there will be more venture, and she does report that there are reports of other clans who were already low on numbers getting larger numbers.
I'll ask if she intends to, if they intend to bring in clanmates from outside the city, or if they intend to embrace some new members.
There'll probably be a combination, but for the first little bit, at least until we can get some numbers bolstered, within the city, it will probably be outside people for now. They will just remain around until we have better numbers, and then they'll just leave. But you will see more venture around. She has reported that she's heard from Duncan, who is now the current acting Primogen because Raz is nowhere to be found, that the Nosferatu has also agreed to bolster their numbers. The only ones who don't seem to care are the White Candle, the Tremere, the Gangrel, and the Malkavians. Everybody else is going to be bolstering their numbers.
Well, the White, I know most of them have a substantial population. The Tremere are smaller, but they tend to keep themselves smaller chantries anyway because of their pyramid structure. So.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not real surprised with that.
It didn't really sound too shocking to you. Yeah. The Bruja did say they were going to bring in some numbers. Malkavians don't need it. The Toreador will be bringing in some numbers. She thought she heard word that the Giovanni might have a couple more people attending, coming in to at least give the Giovanni present. Almost nobody hears from the Setites, so no one knows what the hell is going on with them. And other than that, it's basically just Nosferatu, Ventru, Bruja, and Toreador that are going to be increasing their numbers now.
Okay.
That she's aware of. She said there might be more coming in that she's not aware of. She does let you know that if you want specific numbers, she can get you numbers at least on her clan. She says you'd have to talk to the other Primogen of the other clans to find out, or acting Primogen to find out what kind of numbers they're talking.
I'm not necessarily looking for numbers. I just want an idea of who's all in the city, so I don't act preemptively under the impression they're an interloper.
She nods. Well, that's why I figured I'd let you know, as these clans particularly have mentioned that they are bolstering their numbers for now, at least until they can regain their own turf members.
All right. Well, I have some substantial financial holdings, deal with a couple of different businessmen in the city. If I have any prospective candidates, would you like me to contact yourself or Michael or William? I don't know which of you are looking to sire, if any.
Amelia goes, for any that would fit our stereotypical views, or you can always send us their names. We do have a few candidates as well in mind for a possible embrace, but we're doing a little more research and making sure beforehand because we don't need any more screw-ups like some of our previous members were.
Well, and I suppose if they're higher profile businessmen, you need to make sure they can still operate once
Yeah,
once
that's
they've
the other thing.
undergone that transition.
Yeah, that's the harder part. So I mean, it kind of limits, that kind of limits our options. Or I mean, thankfully, some are kind of eccentric, so they could get away with them being only seen at night, so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, anybody that would pretty much fit the criteria, if you think they'd fit our criteria, you can send them our way. We'll take a look at them, investigate them. If we feel they're a fit, we'll let you know and handle it from there. I'm sure the other clans would probably appreciate. The other clans who are kind of low in numbers would probably appreciate it too.
Yeah, certainly doesn't hurt. I just know because of my other dealings that you were the first ones to come to mind. So, well, very good. I will keep you informed if any appropriate candidates come up. So I'm glad to hear you guys have some opportunities in place.
Yeah, we're not wasting any time. We're trying to get the numbers bolstered, but again, with the particulars of how we are, it requires very certain specifications. So makes things interesting.
Yeah, well, and I suppose it's difficult because you struggle to go out, but at the same time you kind of have to go out and interact to find candidates, but in limited numbers, it's dangerous to go out. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, I wish you luck, and
No, thank you.
certainly if you are going out scouting and you require some sort of, or if you would like, I should say, some sort of kindred escort, there's options available.
We'll keep that in mind.
That's part of the purpose too, is not just hunt down those outsiders, but help protect those who do belong.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind. So if we need to go out and feel that our security details are not enough, we will definitely make the right calls and get who we need.
Will do. I'm going to head out, but I'm going to keep some. I have a couple of animal ghouls, a raven, and a bat that I'm going to have kind of keep a watch to see if any of them leave. And I'm going to spend some time nearby doing a little more research, putting out some more feelers. I need to, number one, I want to redirect some of my mortal, I guess, followers. I'll put a word on the social media talking, reminding them that the dangers of the organized religion and how they become press gangs and zealots.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll spend some time starting my new book's gone into publication, so I need to start on the next one to keep the cash flow high.
Yeah.
So I just want to watch and see if any of these venture do leave on their own before early morning.
They go out and, obviously from what you can tell and from what your ghouls, what you know is, it just looks like they are scouting for new candidates. You seem to talk to a couple of businessmen.
I am going to trail. I think I'll tail Amelia and see if I can get her in a position where she's maybe less surrounded. I want to catch her maybe going into a business or ideally coming out of one. Where I can catch her in the parking lot a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll tail her until that opportunity presents itself.
That'll take a couple of days because with everything going on, everybody's kind of paranoid. So when she left in pretty good numbers.
Yeah, I assume so. And that's fine. I don't mind taking a day or two. and I'll have my ghouls watch for the other ones so that they can, if one of them strays out alone, I can turn my attention to them.
Okay. Like I said, that's going to take a couple days. I want to set something up for that. So
Yeah, that's fine. And then I'll head back to my. I'll head back, spend the next day putting together my power armor.
okay.
Spend a full day doing that, and then I'll give JoJo I'll stop by. I haven't been to the box in a while, so I'll stop by, see if JoJo's around.
Yep. As usual, he's always around.
Yeah, it tends to be his popular hangout, so.
Yeah, that's where he makes his money.
So I will. I'll let him know I'm looking specifically for a guardian or war spirit. I've got a specific experimental fetish, if you will.
Okay. Down looks at you.
So I'm looking for a guardian or a war spirit, something along those lines. Really, even an earth spirit could work. So if anything comes across the table, I know with the increased activity and violence, I'm sure there's more corrupted and enraged spirits running around. I could probably even make a Bane work if there's a moderately strong one in the area.
I'll have my associates put out some feelers and see what they can find for you.
That would be perfect.
They'll give you a location for something like that. They'll probably let you do it, but they'll give you a location for it. I just got to get the word out to them. So, oh, look at that! I got to go anyways.
Will do.
Yeah, I'll go let them know. And as soon as they let me know, I'll get back to you.
Sounds good.
All right, he leaves.
I will. I assume that's going to take at least a night or two for them to track down too. So I'm going to head out. I'll head home. I don't think I have anything else to take care of, but I am going to send a. I guess I'm going to start assembling a list of which other clans might, or which other clan members. They don't have to necessarily be a whole clan, but which other kindred have been more openly supporting Lanica.
Okay.
Start getting that together. So
okay.
I think that'll be about it.
That works. All right, well then, we'll end that. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more. Hope you enjoy.